No. Oh, yes. Yes. So, let me tell you where I think I'm at, and you can then take it away. The subject outline for EDU540.
Yes.
I think I've communicated, I hope I've communicated to everybody that I see it as Foundations Mark II.
Yeah.
And I personally got very excited about A.S. Neal, Wittgenstein, and I've been reminded about Illich and Noddings, and I'm thrilled that Paulo Freire is there. So the way I've thought about it is that I would love students to explore their level of interest in these founders of educational theory.
Yeah.
And give, this is like a free opportunity to go and dig deeper into whichever, there's no all, it's just whichever particularly appeals. And on the Moodle page, I haven't made a big deal about the Christian perspective. I've made an assumption that this is item 1 and 2. I've just tacked on the Christian perspective to that so that you would look at all those through the perspective of your worldview.
Yeah.
So that's a given. Then the next section, number 3, was how students learn. And what I was trying to do there on the website was, the Moodle page was giving you some relevant leaping off points, reading documents, but again, wherever your interest lies, see how they go.
Yeah.
And just today, I got into 21st Century Education, number 4. And have you learned anything about the Skill Centre? Have I talked to you about the Skill Centre before?
No.
I'll see if this works. Sharing the screen again. Share screen. Yeah, so you can see my screen.
Yeah. And
have you got them?
Recording.
You've got it open anyway?
Do I have Moodle open?
Yeah, do you have your 540 open?
No.
Okay, well, you don't necessarily now. I'm just trying to show you. Can you see this page?
Yeah. I see your background screen with all of your documents and stuff.
Oh. Well, that's not worked then. Pause. Share. Stop share. Let's start again. Share screen. Ah, and I pressed the wrong one. Share screen.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
So under number 4, you've got the Skill Centre.
Yeah.
Which is spelt wrongly, but that's a part of Northern Beaches Christian School. And if you go there, it should open up. It's on the Northern Beaches of Sydney.
I think we watched a video about it in 401.
Yeah.
Of it.
This I think they've updated the website, but this is an extraordinary website, and there's all sorts of resources underneath here, all about the centre. And this fella here, Stephen Harris, is the principal and the founder of the Skills Centre.
Yeah.
And Anne Nock is, if you like, she's is number 2 when it comes to the Skills Centre.
Yeah.
And she has a really amazing blog. Anyway, I'm proposing this to you for an example of 21st century education.
Okay.
This thing here, paradigms for the 21st century, challenges for Christian education. This used to be a subject that we did teach here under the primary award, but it got removed in the last accreditation. But this subject outline, as I say, is now out of date.
Yeah.
But it has some amazing resources and references at the end for you to dig into if you so wished.
Okay.
So there'll be relevant stuff there for 21st century. And I'll do a bit more. And I'm just starting to work on literacy and numeracy and put more material up there. So that's what I've been doing. When I've got the moment, I've tried to put some stuff into that.
Yeah, cool.
Now, Jim will shut up and ask you to ask me anything you like.
Oh, well. I really liked, did you see, I watched that, what's his name? Lemov? No.
Yes, Doug Lemov.
Yeah, I watched that today.
Did you watch the hour and a half of it?
I watched the hour and a half of it.
Congratulations.
Well, actually, it was really interesting to hear the questions that people asked, like about, you know, the cultural stuff, being like, I've been in this other culture. How does that relate? And hear him talk about Jordan and just, you know, there's so much that is just cross-culture in education, the way that kids learn and need to learn and stuff. So, yeah, but my biggest thing was that whole it's necessary but not sufficient. Like, was just, you know, like their whole thing about standardized testing or the whatever, what did he call it? High stake testing. To be like, you know, it's necessary but it's not sufficient. You know, it's not, sure they can do that, but that's not sufficient. And so that was actually really challenging for me to be like, I don't want to be in a classroom that just teaches what's necessary. Like, it's got to be more than that.
Well, it was like I knew about him from a few years back, but when I found that video and had the opportunity to see him in action, and particularly the first part of the video where he more or less apologizes for being who he is, and you know, tries to unpack his own journey.
Yeah.
I found that really fascinating, and it touched me that he was motivated by the need to lift children from highly challenging environments, to get them out of poverty, get them out of drug addiction and the cycle of crime into a positive future. And it's just got me that if he can have that without any overt Christian faith driving him, what more reason do we want for what we do?
Yeah.
And the fact that he can sort of just get school starting.
Yeah.
Like that, because he's got a vision.
Yeah.
I mean, it was so inspirational.
Yeah. Is the way that he talks about the difference between public schools in America, is Australian education similar to America? Like,
I don't see any difference, really.
Yeah.
Except that he's prepared to call a spade.
Yeah.
And not to, you know, gloss over things for political reasons. I mean, what comes to mind is the NAPLAN tests and the HSC scores and rankings and all that stuff, and how the papers love to put up league tables.
Yeah.
All the indicators say, "Oh, terrible, terrible, terrible." Well, why doesn't somebody realise that there are kids who are suffering because they're in a particular geographical area, being taught by teachers who are demoralised and defeated? No wonder they're going to find schooling terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he proposes teachers that don't have 8 weeks holiday, that, that do all their PD in their holidays, and they have longer days. Oh, I mean, it's just, he struck me that he was like one of these pioneers of old. And one day we'll look back on Doug Lemov as being a hero of education, like Paulo Freire.
Yeah. I thought it was so interesting. One of the questions at the end was like what to look for when you're recruiting teachers. And he talked about how you do the interview, but then you get to them to do a practice lesson. But actually it's not about the practice lesson. It's about then how they receive their feedback. Like you give them the positive and the constructive, and then you say, can you come back and do it again? And they would actually prefer to employ someone who has implemented their feedback rather than someone who just pretends that they know it all and they can say whatever. Like, imagine how different school would be if that was the way that, like, whatever their administrators or whatever did.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm going to try and kill it. I don't know how to kill it.
Hi, Jim.
Oh, hello.
Hey.
I'm on a call at the minute. Can you take a message?
It's okay. Don't worry. I'll take a message for Josie.
Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Okay, bless you. I pressed that button and I didn't know what on earth happened. Are you still there, Sandy? Ah! She's not there. I should learn how to press a certain thing when I'm. Whoa, what do I do? Mode. In a meeting. Yay! In a meeting. Yeah. Right, I'm back.
Yeah, how different schools would be if that was the attitude of people. Like, because one thing that I said, especially, so I did both my primary and high school. I did it both. I did it public and private. And one thing I found in private school is I had lots of teachers who were really good at doing what was necessary, and they would turn out the robot ideal desired student that fitted the goal of the school. Emmanuel College wants these are our desired outcomes, and teachers who did what was necessary, awesome. But I'm like, man, they weren't good teachers. And so to be in that different place, if actually at the very start as a recruiting the teachers talked about feedback and desiring them to constantly be improving, like it'd change everything in the public school system as well as the private school system. Yeah.
Look, I mustn't keep you and I mustn't keep me.
Yeah, sorry.
Keep going.
I was going to ask about the assignment.
Good. Which one?
Well, the first one that's due, which is comparative literature review.
Yeah.
So that one's just where we choose 3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah. What does it engage with actual schools where these ideologies are outworked? What are you looking for there?
I didn't write the question.
You didn't write the question in the last subject, so I didn't either.
No. These are questions that have to be written to get us accredited. Okay? And having said that, the goal is as long as we meet the outcomes of the assessment.
Okay.
So if we turn back to...
the rubric.
No, I wasn't going there. The outcome on page 2 of the outline for this comparative literature review, critically analyze the impact of major educational thinkers on your own thinking. So to me, that's the big heading. That's what you've got to do.
Yeah.
The wording of the assignment is less critical. So when it says engage with, I mean, if you had the opportunity to go waltzing into A.S. Neil's school in England, then fine. Or you could do that digitally.
Okay.
And go and watch a video of one.
All right.
But seriously, watch your time commitment. It just means, I would take it to mean how think of or research a place of where these theorists are in operation, like the Montessori school.
So have some real life examples.
The Steiner schools, homeschooling, whoever, is driving that vision. Whatever takes your fancy, I really don't mind, as long as you're seeking to, just like Lemov, right? He's given you an insight into some of his schools.
Yeah.
Fine. So they've got a system, a whole network of schools. That's their philosophy. I mean, you could look at it this way, couldn't you? Emmanuel College, what sort of fold does that come from?
Yeah.
Christian community schools, or the Queensland version thereof?
They used to be part of the CSA, the Christian Schools Association.
Yeah. But was that their founding principle, as in LE, not AL? What was the founding principle of that type of school?
Okay.
So, in other words, what thinking is being put into practice to found that school? I mean, Emmanuel might not be a good example for you, but you do know it, and therefore you would be able to research it relatively easily.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Now the second one.
Yes.
Which is group and individual.
Yes.
You want us to work as a group?
No.
Okay.
I think that's going to be too hard.
Yes, I agree.
Too hard. You're all very different. There's Anita, who's finishing up this semester.
Yeah.
She's got placement next term, term 2, her final placement. David, who's just started last year. So he's very new. You have more teaching experience in Australia than he does. Just make it work.
Okay. So what exactly are we doing in that second assignment?
It says teach a series of lessons to a small group of the specified stage. Make notes from your TES group. Working in TES online forum groups. Have you looked up what TES is?
Yeah, I joined it, but that's all I've done.
I mean, I'm amazed that it exists as a online thing now. Like too many years ago for me to remember, there used to be a newspaper that came out every Saturday called the Times Educational Supplement, and it was pretty thick.
Yeah.
Jobs and articles about education, and now it's become this, and it's worldwide.
Yeah.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Seriously, I haven't got my head into that assignment, and all I better say at the moment is let's talk again on this subject.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, seriously, it's a bit of a weird one. I'm open to don't spend long thrashing about on it. If you've got ideas about the interactive teaching module, pop them on the forum.
Okay.
And share them with everyone, and we'll get a bit of a dialogue going that way, I think.
Yeah, because I think interactive teaching. Yeah, so it's not due to the end of the the semester. But May is crazy for me, so it probably is for other people as well. So I've got 3 due on that one day. So if I could know before to start early.
Oh yeah. Look, seriously, over the next couple of weeks,
yeah,
we should get this thrashed out. Yes, I agree.
All right, cool. Well, then I don't know that I really need to. I think I've only just started to look into this subject of all of the different stuff. So I'm good. You've answered that kind of basic stuff about the first essay.
I don't think it's a hard one. I think it's not designed to be. It's sort of in there because we have to.
Yeah.
From the accreditation point of view. And to me, it's a good excuse for doing some more reading.
Yeah.
And, you know, finding jewels, finding pearls along the way.
Yeah.
Which may well feed into your teaching practice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which it already has, because of the way you're talking about them off.
Yeah. Well, just like that cold call, and then he talked about one teacher who now calls it hot call and talks about, or fire call or something, because it's this time. And the whole idea, like, I really liked how you've got to explain, like, you know, you practice with your students how you want them to respond. And I was just like, that is brilliant. You know, you practice that you don't bag out the person who doesn't know the idea. Like, if they're not behaving the way that you want them to, that's probably because you haven't taught them how you want them to behave. And, like, for me, like, I thought about my teacher, so the one that I'm going to do my prac with, and I'm like, actually, he taught us how he wanted us to behave, and he created that environment where you could have any opinion. It could be the complete opposite to the person before you, but that was what he wanted.
Wonderful.
You know, like, and now I actually wrote down the names of the books because I've got to get them so that I can read them.
Good on you. The thing about the cold call, if I'm honest and I say, and I look across all the teachers I've watched teach, the typical question that the teacher will ask the class is not directed to anybody.
Yeah.
So who answers? Just those who are confident and have got it and are paying attention.
Yeah. Well, even in, like, the example, which must have been like a kindergarten or grade 1, and he talks about he called, like, the teacher called on the one student who didn't put their hand up.
Yes.
And when they didn't know the answer, she asked someone else, and then she went back to them and said, so what is the answer? I know. Like, just so much stuff that I'm like, yeah.
Beautiful.
Good idea. Like, and there was no negativity or playing down or anything like that.
I know. It was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, it brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very good.
Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye and let you get on.
Yeah.
We'll keep in touch, get the news forums going.
Yeah.
I saw your thing today. So, and yes, you did write too much.
Well, I actually, considering how excited I was feeling, I was very restrained. Like, yeah.
Oh,
okay.
That's good.
So we'll book in another Zoom to talk about.
Yeah, the assignments. Yeah.
Okay. Now, I'll book in my prac too. Is someone in Queensland to observe me? Because doesn't someone from Alpha Crucis have to watch me?
Yes. Normally when I've got Queensland people, I get somebody from up there to go and do it in my place. So, yeah, make sure we've got all the dates. Angeline's got the dates.
Yeah.
And, yeah, kick me into action on that one.
Okay.
Because I need to get somebody to go and observe.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully I'll have an email back soon. He's not very good on his emails, Mr. Johnson. And I think because it's school holidays, he's probably worse. So.
No problem.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Jim.
No worries. All the best. Thank you. Bye-bye.